This is Ashley, Chloe, and Rachel, and we'd like to introduce you to our social marketing campaign all about fiber. Did you know that a vast majority of Americans don't consume enough dietary fiber? In fact, it's been a nutrient of concern in the dietary guidelines for Americans since 2005. And fiber isn't just about regularity. Dietary fiber consumption is associated with reduced risk of heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and various types of cancer. 90% of American women are missing out on remarkable health benefits simply by not getting enough fiber. The problem is, 2/3 of them already believe they're getting enough. We know women have no problem consuming grains in general, but they often choose refined grains more than whole grains. That's why our goal for this campaign is to empower American women ages 25 to 45 to prioritize their health and reach the daily fiber recommendation, starting with making at least half of their grains whole grains. Researchers found several reasons why whole grain consumption is inadequate, all of which tie back to behavior theories. Let's start with the health belief model. Our target lacks knowledge on the nutritional benefits of eating more whole grains and doesn't understand that fiber reduces the risk for serious health problems, suggesting that perceived susceptibility and severity are low. Perceived barriers that keep her from eating whole grain foods may include a dislike for the taste and texture compared to refined grains. She's also missing cues to action. When she gets to the store, she's confused about which foods contain whole grains. Her self-efficacy is lacking when it comes to knowing what to buy, and she's also not sure how to prepare these foods in a way that both she and her family will enjoy. Social cognitive theory also relates to this target's consumption behaviors. Environmental factors may impact her access to whole grain foods at the grocery store, while at work, or while she's busy shuttling kids around town. She also has to consider convenience. Her kids or her partner may not prefer to eat whole grain foods, so she has to balance what they want with the time she has available and make choices that fit into her busy lifestyle. In terms of behavioral factors, she's constantly on the go and is not in the habit of prepping snacks and meals ahead of time. And finally, no one is modeling this behavior for her. 98% of Americans are not consuming the recommended amount of whole grains, so it's unlikely that she's seeing friends, family, or influencers getting their whole grains in each day. We know that when women see positive behaviors in others who look like themselves, those individuals serve as role models and become powerful change influencers. We also know that women are motivated by results. When they can see short-term results or immediate improvement toward their goals, they're more likely to stick with the behavior change. Looking at past programs developed to increase whole grain consumption, those that succeeded had some key elements. They introduced people to a variety of whole grain options, giving them an abundance of choice. They used partnerships with both public and private organizations to increase the reach of simple, engaging, and repetitive messages that covered a range of topics, including how to read a nutrition facts label and how to choose and prepare whole grain foods. These programs also had a long duration, giving them multiple chances to expose individuals to whole grain foods.
We did some research within our own circles as well. Using Google Forms, we shared a survey via Facebook, Instagram, and direct messages to women in our networks to understand more about what our target audience knows about fiber, where they consume media, and where they're getting information. When asked what comes to mind when they think about fiber, the women mentioned digestive health as well as supplements like Metamucil. They understood that fiber comes from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, but about 50% of them still said they aren't confident in their ability to select fiber-rich foods. Around 18% already felt like they were meeting the daily recommendation. Some women had negative associations with fiber, like bloating or the perception of gritty or grainy texture. Our key learning: we need to talk about the other benefits of fiber and address how to combat the texture associations. We asked her to identify specific foods that were high in fiber or made from whole grains so we could pinpoint foods to highlight in our campaign. We learned that our target prefers to see health-related content on Instagram and Facebook versus other platforms. Finally, this survey showed us that these women are doing their own research as a form of self-motivation to make health behavior changes. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce you to our campaign, Fiber Up for Health. Fiber Up for Health aims to help women reach their daily recommended fiber goals by increasing their awareness of health benefits and by providing them with approachable content that feeds their desire to make decisions based on their own research. Fiber Up for Health is intended to build their confidence and self-efficacy by equipping them with tools to shop, prepare, and eat fiber-rich foods, and by connecting them with influencers who can model these behaviors. We want this campaign to come to life in two main channels, digital media and the shopping experience. From our research, we know that our target audience is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Our social posts will address several of the problems we need to solve. Posts highlighting the health benefits beyond digestive health can improve perceived susceptibility and severity. Content will also provide guidance on what to look for in-store by highlighting a variety of fiber-rich food choices, shopping lists, and packaging cues like the whole grain stamp. Simple reminders repeated frequently can keep fiber top of mind. We will also do a series of whole grain recipe demos with YouTube influencers, driving traffic to these videos and recipes with cross-promotional posts highlighting mouth-watering food photography. Influencers can help our audience with time-saving tips like how to meal prep or use a pressure cooker. Whether in a brick-and-mortar store or online, we need to provide cues to help her grocery shop. By partnering with retailers, we will use shelf flags and in-store displays to draw attention to whole grain options. Our social posts will highlight these in-store activations to make sure our target knows what to look for. We'll use influencer haul videos to highlight whole grain, fiber-rich options at a specific retailer, and we'll create shops within e-commerce sites and apps to focus her choices.
Because we know that successful behavior change campaigns have a long duration, we designed this campaign to be evergreen so we can highlight new content based on audience interest, seasonality, or simply to keep it fresh. For example, Fiber Up Your 4th will showcase whole grain picnic and cookout foods this summer, while Fiber Up with Friends and Family will showcase seasonal favorites made fiber-rich during the holidays. We will also rotate in vegetables, fruits, and other foods. The health-related topics will change too, and will be scheduled to coincide with national awareness campaigns like Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. You can see from our timeline how the campaign comes to life throughout the year, addressing multiple needs and barriers within our target audience. This allows for constant evaluation and optimization during the life of the campaign. The most straightforward way to measure the overall effectiveness of our campaign would be to follow up with our initial survey respondents. By capturing email addresses during the initial survey, we can now send a mid-campaign survey to determine how to best optimize our content, and then a post-campaign survey to determine if their knowledge and behavior changed. Each channel or activation will have its own KPIs, and we can review to determine the most effective way to focus our energy and resources. Long-term evaluations will be harder to attribute to the campaign, but if individual channel KPIs are met, if those results correlate to reports of increased fiber consumption in national health surveys, and if we see a reduction in chronic diseases that have been linked to fiber consumption, then energy and resources are being well spent. Evaluating the response to the content we published on social media, we can conclude that content that is lighthearted, actionable, and approachable gets high engagement. Leveraging hashtags so content is discoverable increases followers. Content such as polls draws the strongest response, and these KPIs can all be utilized to optimize content going forward. Now that we've examined the problem and all aspects of the campaign, let's apply the 4 Ps to summarize. First, the product is the behavior change of increasing fiber intake via whole grains to meet daily recommendations. We want our target to understand which foods are whole grains, how to prepare them in delicious ways, and how they can improve their health. Our research showed that she may not like the taste of whole grains or be as confident in her ability to select and prepare them. Her family may have preferences that don't include whole grains,
So she'll have to either convince them or take time to prepare multiple options. These are all examples of price we needed to consider. For promotion, our messaging demonstrates how whole grains are a fiber-rich option. Our content works to break the stigma surrounding fiber and shows women how fiber is related to overall health. Our campaign assets provide her with tools to make fiber more accessible and improve her self-efficacy for choosing higher fiber foods. The campaign comes to life in multiple places. Social media content meets her where she is open to seeing this kind of messaging. By partnering with grocery stores and online retailers and apps, we reach her where she shops. And finally, the bulk of her behavior change will take place in her kitchen, deciding what to make and eat. This is where we hope our content will really resonate and motivate her to make fiber-rich choices. By using approachable, repetitive content that highlights the multiple health benefits of fiber and boosts our target's self-efficacy when it comes to choosing and preparing delicious fiber-rich meals, we hope we can show our target audience that she can eat more fiber. Thank you.